see who ran the network in those days. It was really entrenched bureaucracy and the suits and the ties.
Can't believe it. I had to cancel 9 shows.
And they were terrible shows. I don't understand how they failed.
The only thing out there was shows that had these sort of sketch sensibilities. You know, they were joke machines. And
we weren't a joke machine. We were a concept machine. We were a scene machine.
Oh my goodness. I'm really sorry. The B's number is cut.
I don't think they had a lot of confidence in this show. I mean, I don't think they really understood any more than we did what was about to happen.
We went in with no aspirations, no sense that this would go anywhere, and that we had a chance, at least for a year, to parody and take down television.
And, you know, the big question was, now what?
Nice girls that one with a defect, cellophane shrink wrap so correct. Red dogs under illegal legs.
April 1st, 1975, I began moving from my room at the Chateau Marmont.
Before we knew it, we were in New York, and Lauren and Tom Schiller were living at the Plaza.
He was monomaniacal about it. Everything he said was about the show. The show. And what show, I thought, you know?
Since I didn't know anyone in New York, Marilyn Miller, who I'd known as a writer on Lily's show, said you should look up Michael O'Donoghue.
O'Donoghue was the managing editor of the Lampoon when they put it out with the cover showing a dog and a gun, saying, if you don't buy this magazine, we'll shoot this dog.
Michael was living with a woman named Ann Beats.
I rather audaciously told him how much I disliked the Lily Tomlin specials and that I preferred Sonny and Cher. And why he wanted to hire me, I can't imagine.
I was in a line for Monty Python's Holy Grail. We are the knights who say, you know, and next to me was Lauren, and we immediately hit it off.
So I offered him a writing job, and he was torn because he wanted to be a performer. And I couldn't guarantee that he would be in the cast. He and O'Donoghue knew each other, so there was a natural chemistry there.
Tony Hendrick was putting together something called National Lampoon's Lemmings, and he'd called in a ringer from Chicago's Second City, and that was Belushi. John was, without a doubt, the star of the show.
Everybody thought it'd be a good idea if I met John. I met John. He told me that he didn't do television. We didn't hit it off. Gilda, who also knew John, said he has, as he does, a real sweet side.
Gilda was in New York doing the National Lampoon show, so she was someone that was like part of the family already. Bill was also somebody that we were really keen on Lauren hiring, but instead he wanted to hire this Canadian guy that we were suspicious of. This Aykroyd fellow.
Dan had just come in from Toronto on a motorcycle the size of a building.
once Lauren saw Belushi and I together that he didn't like, he saw a power structure there that might challenge his authority. Franken and Davis and Gilda were sort of lobbying, so convinced him to hire us.
I knew Franken and Davis in L.A. because all the young people hung out at the Comedy Store.
She had paid me to play tennis with her. Kind of humiliating, but I had no money.
Franken and Davis were like a classic comedy writing duo, you know. But they were always like whacked out of their skulls. So kind of like...
Tom and I were the only writers that Lauren hired that he hadn't met. And to this day, we believe that if he had met us, we would not have been hired.
Lorraine had already been cast.
I knew Lorraine Newman from the Lily Tomlin show.
Gilda and I watched the auditions, and boy, am I glad I didn't have to audition. We auditioned at least 400 people.
People like Jane Curtin came in.
Jane looked like she belonged on television. She had a face that was sort of built for parody.
Garrett, by the way, Garrett Morris, he was a writer to begin with, and Lauren wanted to put him on the air.
Lauren put out the word that he won a black writer. And being crazy, you know, he didn't know me from Alan, but I must have looked, I don't know, he said, you're hired, right?
Alan's Y. Bell, one of the most nervous guys in the world, came in.
I was a joke writer for Catskill Comedians. And this guy sits down next to me, and he said, "You're the worst comedian I've ever seen in my life. How much money do you need to live. So I said, well, I'm making $2.75 an hour at the deli. Match it.
It started growing like a molecular explosion in all areas. Herb Sargent was a teacher, and in the early days, he left a script out which gave the format of all the thing where there's character name and then the dialogue and then the stage direction, because none of us knew how to really do that.
I didn't teach anything. They learned as they went along. I might frown at something, but that was about it.
Lauren had an eye for talent. It was like it's a picnic, and someone will bring the potato salad, someone will bring the... He had a sense of variety, and he understood there needed to be some form of balance.
It was a little like being Wendy on the Island of Lost Boys, in a way.
For me, it was an incredibly exciting time. I mean, I was probably fearful of actually going on there because I'd never really done a live television show. And as I've said endlessly, we don't go on because it's ready, we go on because it's 11:30, and that tends to be very clarifying.
You like? Subscribe!